As I sit to write the review for Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy, Definitive Edition, I can't help but be reminded of Vito Corleone, lamenting the massacre of his boy in Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather. I think many like-minded 30-somethings that grew up with Grand Theft Auto consider these games to be more than just nuggets of blissful, adolescent nostalgia born out of sunny Saturday afternoons spent indoors. They're very much a part of the foundation that developed us into the gamers we are today, and so we keep them close to our hearts, as if they were a long-lost friend. With that being said, I can see why GTA Definitive Edition currently sits with one of the lowest user scores ever recorded in Metacritic's history. Fans of Rockstar's unique, bizarre, and outlandish take on the American dream feel as if they were bamboozled, hoodwinked, and conned into thinking this collection really would be the definitive way to play three of the most beloved games in history. And I hate to say it, but their feelings are not entirely unjustified. I think it's important to keep in mind that Rockstar did market GTA Definitive Edition as a collection that will retain the look and feel of the originals while bringing a few quality of life enhancements and visual upgrades along for the ride. And to their credit, I think they almost hit that mark. There are times when Vice City's neon-laden streets or San Andreas' cascading sunlight illuminate scenes in ways I never thought possible. And vehicles now have a distinct shine to them that does a serviceable job in reflecting light. That said, everything else on the street, like windows and buildings, lacks the same sort of detail, creating an awkward mishmash of old and new that screams lack of direction. Character models are also an unbalanced mess. Claude from GTA 3 somehow looks like he was created generations ahead of San Andreas' CJ. Vice City's Ken Rosenberg looks like his face was rearranged with a shovel. And don't get me started on the NPCs, most of which look like literal goblins you'd see in Lord of the Rings. Now, I could have looked past all this nonsense if GTA Definitive Edition made an effort to somewhat modernize the gameplay. I'm not saying Grove Street Games needed to make these behave like GTA 5, but it feels like they made a conscious effort to come to work, adjust as little as possible, and call it a day. While the additions of checkpoints and quick load times are a godsend for people that hated having to replay the entirety of a mission, any other changes that may have been made to the gameplay feel minimal at best. All three games still play as if they're 20 years old, and not in a good way. Here's the thing though, it's easy to look back with rose-colored glasses, reminiscing about how well these games performed during your childhood, but the fact of the matter is, they didn't. There was always a level of jank prevalent throughout the series, all the way up to the fourth installment, and for better or worse, GTA Definitive Edition retains all of that wonkiness, and then some. Much of this stems from the apparently updated controls. Sure, there's a weapon wheel you can use to quickly select your next instrument of destruction, but that's about as far as the improvements go. Make no mistake, all three of these games play precisely as they did 2 decades ago. Aiming is slippery and imprecise, even with the lock-on feature enabled. And the lack of impact when firing your guns is made frustratingly apparent by the developer's choice to forego making use of the controller's vibration. It's not just the lack of a genuine upgrade to the controls or visuals either. GTA Definitive Edition is plagued with technical issues ranging from audio hiccups to severe pop-in to inexcusable screen tearing and baffling frame drops. There is no reason these games should force us to choose between performance and fidelity modes, and Rockstar should, quite frankly, be ashamed that they run as poorly as they do. Even on the performance setting, you'll be lucky to go 15 seconds without seeing the frame rate dip. Here's the thing though, despite every issue that GTA Definitive Edition suffers from, I've still been having a good time with it, which is simply a testament to how well written the GTA series is. Definitive Edition needs a patch, or maybe it needs a boatload of patches. That said, I still find myself enjoying the over-the-top storylines, ridiculous dialogue, and outrageous mission structure. It's hard to call these definitive, but still easy to call them classics.
Leave me alone, mister.